Hello, welcome back, YouTube. It's Western Caves once again. I'm still editing a little bit, just trying to figure out how to edit Western Caves Wildcard Episode 1. And it's Sunday night, and I have nothing recorded for this week. And I figured I'd at least try and rush something out. So here was a video idea that I've had sitting on the back burner for like a month or two. Actually, more like 2 or 3 months at this point. A little statistical and analysis of my playthrough of Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. So, um, I forget how I have this currently sorted. I've got it sorted, I think by wins at the moment. Yeah. Every character, with the exception of Samson and any of the other really guiding characters, guiding chapter characters. You can see Abel had the most kills at 80. Marth at 77. Sita at 76. Kane and Pala tied at 61. Katria hit was at 59. Barst, Merrick, and even Lena. This late start she got killing stuff all cracked the 40 barrier. Back one of 5 characters to get in 100 battles, only had 36 kills, so that hurt his win percentage. Yeah. So it's Abel, Marth, Sita, Kane, Pala, Katria, Bars, Miraculina, back your top 10 by battles. See some of the characters I used a lot, because that's what all this stuff over here is what chapters that they were all deployed in, the amount of chapters. So you can see some really interesting streaks of people being used. See some interesting ones getting like Sita not getting deployed in chapter 19. Merrick also not getting deployed in chapter 19. Wolf not being in 23. Sedger not in 23 or in 12. Wendell had the weirdest usage throughout the game, not being used in. No, it's Agma? Yeah, Agma. No, Wendell not used in chapter 6, chapter 12, chapter 17 or 19 or 24. Probably could have used Minerva in 18 just for a dialogue with Ast. Let's see, some character have really, really weird uses. Look at Julian. So he's another weird one. So yeah, this is how many chapters they were all deployed in. So Abel, Marcita, Kane, Pala, Katria, Bars, Merrick, Lena, Beck, Wolf, Sedger, Agma, Wendell, all being deployed for 10 or more chapters. Yeah, if we sort this by battles, Abel actually had the most battles at 123. Then it's Kane, actually. Well, no, Abel still had the most, but yeah, Kane actually jumps up to second. Then Marth had just like he had one more kill than Sita. He had one more battle, which I guess was the final boss. It's the only difference. Back there at fifth. And then Barst at 92, Katria at 82, Pala had 80. So you could see I was slightly feeding Katria more, and yet Pala got more kills. So womp womp. Sedger and Lena also in the top 10 for kills, and then or battles. Merrick, Wolf, Minerva, Tiki, and Cord ended up 15. But there are more interesting ones like win percentage. As you can see, some characters got into battles and did not get a single kill, like Macellan in 8 battles. You remember? Roger, Board, Tomas, Boa, Astrum all got in the battles. None of these people down here got in any. But you can see some people got in and just did not do a lot of killing. Sedger in particular, an awful kill rate at 19%. Jake at 11%. He didn't get a lot of use. Dolph's up there. You know, guys you would expect. Cord got a fair bit of use. He only had a 32% kill rate. That was worse than Julian. Beck had only a 36% kill rate. Minerva, Harden, both had worse kill rates than Jagan. Wolf had a worse by a couple fraction of a percent. Jagan had about a 41%. That was about what Wendell did, and Wendell's basically matched Jagan. Agba up there at about 47. Gordon Medea Asta right in the middle. You look at the top, and then Frey, Caesar, and Aaron had perfect in their limited amounts. And then Pala, the highest of those who got regular usage. Look at that, a 76.25% kill rate for Pala. Good enough for 4th. Marth at a 73.3 along with Merrick. Sia at 7th with a 73.1 if you round it. 8th, Katria, 71.95. It rounds up to 72. Tiki, 9th. And Bantu with about a 2/3 kill. Well, literally. Yeah, Abel, despite having the most battles and the most kills, only had a kill rate or win rate of about 65%. It was only good enough for 11. And out of units I used pretty regularly, I'd say, that's still only good enough for 7. Which is still pretty good, but how much of that is due to the fact that he was available from the second prologue? Well, that's why I got these battles per chapter and wins per chapter. Frey, I guess when you sort it this way, he appears first. It's more like down in between George and Dolph, but I guess he gets the honorary top spot because he's Frey. Beck saw a lot. Nearly over 7 battles a chapter. Godo had 7 battles a chapter, but he's only in 1 chapter. And so, yeah, I have chapter and deploy. Battles per chapter and wins per chapter are for every chapter that they would have been available to be deployed in. Battles per deploy and wins per deploy are ones that they actually were deployed in. So if a character was available for, say, 20 chapters, but only deployed in 5 of them, then that would reflect it. It'd be about 4 times higher. So you can see which units made the most of their availability, who had a good kill, and who had, good actually seeing the field of combat. So if we go here, the real top 10 for battles per chapter, we have Beck at about 7.7, Godo in second at 7, third Katria with a 6.8, fourth Palo with 6 2/3, fifth Tiki with about 6.3-ish. That's like 6 2/7 to be exact. It's fifth. Then it's Abel at about 4.4, Kane at just a hair under that. Sita at around 4.2 ish. Then Barst at a 3 and 5/8, and then in 10th place is Marth at about a 3.6. Let's see some of the more interesting units here. Yeah, sorry, there's a little bit of silence there. So you see some interesting units like Jake down in really in 18th with that 1.2. If you move over to his battles deploy, that's at a 6. And also keep a note for Dolph, who is in, well, since Frey would actually be in his correct spot. He'd actually be above him. So you can't count in line 1. You have to kind of minus 1. Dolph is really just at 25. But if you go to battles per deploy, Dolph jumps up to number 1. Let's get to wins per chapter. Wins per chapter, Frey's going to be tied with Sedger for about 16th, right? Three, four, five, six. Tied for 15th. Okay. So it's Pala got about 5 wins per chapter. Katri at 4.9. Tiki at 4. Basically 2 less wins per chapter than battles per chapter. Exactly. She was on average, she was winning all but 2 of her battles, pretty much. Goto at a flat 4, and then Sita rounding out the top 5 with a 3.04. Then Abel, he's in 6th here, which is pretty. That's how he's actually did pretty. Yeah, he's got 6. I don't know. I'm going off on tangent. About 2 and 6/7. Beck at about 2. Despite having one of the highest, I think the highest battles per chapter ratio, only 7th in wins per chapter. Then Marth at 2.655, Kane at about 2.259, and a tie for 10th between Barst and Merrick at 2. And that's where you can see, yeah. See, Lena is up there too, which is very impressive that she's that high, despite the fact that she didn't start killing for a while. She's first shown here in chat. Her first time she could even attack would have been here, her 12th chapter. She was in 23 chapters, so it was 11 chapters of uselessness. Yeah. That'd be really interesting to calculate. If you wanted to calculate from the moment she was able to attack, which is really interesting. If you treated her as a new unit, let me do this on my phone real quick. It'd be her battles per chapter when she could actually, I guess, battle. If you, I'm guessing she didn't get into a battle beforehand. Like if an enemy attacked her, it'd be about 5.916, and her wins in that period would be, hold on, 3.333. So she would be really up there. It's kind of virtually what her stats would look like. Yeah, so she was doing a pretty good job herself. Despite that, you can see Minerva 1.125 is interesting. Now battles per deploy. This is going to be interesting because this should factor in people who weren't on the were didn't get deployed that often, or people, this is going to be interesting because this will skew to people with smaller sample sizes. Like Dolph, who had 9 battles in his lone appearance. A very unsustainable rate, I might add, but he's up there. Back in second, 8.338 and a third. Pala and Masellan tied at 8 for third. Yeah, I would like to point out Dolph and Masellan both got deployed once in the game. They were people who they didn't even start with weapons in the chapter they joined, of course. But the fact that they're armorites, you can tell that's kind of how I used them. 17 combined battles between the two of them, and only 2 kills. That's not a big rate. But that's very par for the course for, say, a Sedgar or a very. Let me use this jog. See, the win rate would be really low. See, that's a 19 there. Draug's at a 40. I'm surprised actually by that. Anyway, 5th in most battles per times deployed, Godo. We got 7 in that last chapter. Then there's Katria. Katria's in 6th. Somehow. Oh, no, it's because I left Pala out of it. What chapter did I leave Pala out of? 17 and 19. You could tell it's really interesting. I don't know if she beats Katria if I keep her as a Pegasus Knight, because I don't think she was okay, but I was definitely felt like Katria already had the niche that Pala would have filled. Yeah, this is really interesting. Yeah, sorry if I'm umming and yahing, and yeah, that's, I guess. Anyway, Katria 6.833. That's about 6 and 5/6. I know I'm crazy with the fractions. Just like there's a 6 and 2/7 for Tiki, my bad, in 7th place in battles per deployed. Jake had an even 6, who was deployed in 3 chapters. He was in chapter 11. I brought him along in chapter 12. I left him off the team in 13 because I knew we were getting Beck at that time. And then I brought him back as a one-off kind of in chapter 18 so I could bring Zane along and we could have the 3 ballisticians action going on. Yeah, he got an average of 6 ballista shots off. And only averaged about 2/3 of kill. He got 2 kills over 3 chapters, is what it's trying to say there. While wins versus deployed. So very interesting. He's in 8th. 9th place Minerva. This is shocking. Minerva 9th in battles per deploy with a 5.6, so 5 and 5/8. How many times did I deploy Minerva? I deployed her in 8 chapters, which is crazy. With how low her, well, I mean, 40 isn't super low, but it is below 500. It is not a sort of a good winner percentage, if it's not a good percentage to have if you're like a football team or a baseball team or a hockey team. Especially not if it's in the playoffs. Yeah. Well, if you don't have it, that means if you don't have a winning record in the playoffs, I mean, in football, it means you might be, you're trending towards first round exits and then maybe going 1-1 in playoff. You're trending towards first round one and done playoff appearances more than you are winning 2 playoff games. Yeah, so deep playoff runs. Anyway, that's I'm off on a tangent, but yeah, it's really weird that that's kind of shocking. Even that 45 battles doesn't seem like a lot, but when you look at battles per deploy for Minerva, that's a really shocking stat. Um, and then in 10th place is Abel, 4.393. As you can see, Kane, honorable mention, is in 11th place with 4.37. As you can see, Sita's down there actually in 12th at a 4 and a third. George and Medea tied at 4 battles per chapter deployed. Sedger in 15th. Marth, the hero Marth, is at 17th. Lena almost got more battles per deployed. That is a scary stat. That is a very scary stat. Considering that Lena effectively could not attack for 11 of those chapters, that's counting against her in her battles per deploy. Yeah, that is very frightening. Indeed. But look at Merrick. Down in 22nd despite the 60 battles. Which is, I already forgot what that was. I think 11th in battles. I think it's 11th in battles. It's 11th in battles. Wins per deploy. As you can see, this is where you can see where Pala became so useful. 6.1 wins per deploy. That is why she was able to get as high as she was in the ranking. Because when I did deploy her, she wrecked. She wrecked, especially once I reclassed her to sniper, and the funniest moment ever happened. Look at that. Second place is Catry. Can you tell me I like my white wings? Who is Est? Who the frick is Est? Est is Est is tied for 20th with 5 other people. Half of which have a better win rate than her. And the two others were had more deploys than her. She's kind of the useless one in that regards. Anyway, Tiki, 4 and 2/7 wins per deploy, puts her in third. Goto in fourth at 4. Sita at about, goodness, that is a weird fraction. That is a weird wait, no, that's not as that's just 3 and 1/6 is Sita. Yep, in fifth, she's in the top 5. Beck, interestingly enough, despite that putrid 36% win percentage, the is somehow good enough for the 6th place in wins per deployed. That's the stat I find very interesting. Beck is actually 6th in that. Abel 7th, 2 and 6/7. Marth in 8th at 2.655. George in 9th. Look at George actually cracked the top 10 in a statistical category. 2 and 2/3. No, 2 and 1/3. And then at 2.259 is Kane, beating out Minerva by about 100th. Minerva had a 2.25. Kept her out of the top 10. Merrick, as you can see, had a 2.095. And Bars, Dolph, and even Medea had 2 wins per deploy. Lena, as you can see, that hurts her wins per deploy. Harden had a good run of it. Uh, Most useless for each category without having zeros. Well, I guess Macellan's the useless for kills for having 0 kills in 8-bit. But the Astrum, Thomas, Boa, Board each have 1 battle. Est, Aaron, Caesar, Navarre, and Daros had 1 win. Lowest win percentage that was higher than 0. Jake, who won about 1 in every 9 of his battles. Wins battles per chapter. Lowest battles per chapter is Board, who was available for 24 chapters and had 1 battle. So about a .042 battles per chapter. Caesar slightly better. At 0.056. That's interesting. See Thomas, Boa, Astrum down there below even 0.1. Wins per chapter. Lowest out of anyone who got killed. Daros got 1 kill. Was available for 24 chapters, so he's in the same boat there. Barely beating out Navarre because Navarre was available for 1 less chapter. 0.042 versus 0.043. And Caesar there with another 0.056. Caster with the 0.083 for Aaron is just the picture of mediocrity at 0.1. The lowest battles per deploy is going to be interesting. Board, who was deployed in 2 different chapters and got in 1 battle. That's very interesting. Him and technically Frey. And Frey would have gotten more because the only reason he got low is because I knew I was sacrificing him, so I didn't want him to steal the XP. The fact that somebody else who I guess I kind of was. I was kind of knowing I wasn't going to use Board. I couldn't even. Oh, we're back. My headphones died. I couldn't even tell you what chapter. Sorry, that's why the thing. I showed you the recording. Ignore all that, please. There's a lot of junk in there. Anyway, I couldn't even tell you which chapter Board got the thing in, the attack in, and Frey's there, and then all these people who had 1. Wendell, 1.063 battles per deploy is very interesting because he gets 7 battles. Now wins per deploy. It's gonna be interesting. You got some people below the 1 win per deploy mark. Sedger, 73 battles. He got a .737 wins per deploy. Because he had 14 kills. He was deployed in 19 chapters. That's very interesting stat there. I knew there was some. Those were Frey's tied with Shaky Caster. Daros got deployed 3 different times and got 1 kill. I'm actually kind of shocked I deployed him in Chapter 4. That's interesting. Navarre also in Chapter 4. He's at a half a battle per deploy, or half a win. So is Julian. Of course, he had 4 wins. I deployed him 8 times. You can see what's really interesting is chapters 12 to 19, he gets deployed 5 times in that span. He's first available in chapter 3. So before that mark, I'm only deploying him pretty much once every 3 chapters. That's why his wins are so low, is because he's not getting the experience he needs to get a couple levels, maybe get a point in strength, and maybe get a weapon rank to get a better weapon level to be more likely to land kills. Or I'm just not putting him in spaces, so I'm kind of failing him. But Wendell, there he is, the 4.438. I'm glad I brought that up now. 7 kills. He got deployed 16 times. Cord, Agma, Zane, Sedger, Castor, Frey, Julian. No, Jake, who I missed. Also less than 1 kill for deploy. See, also, actually did not sort these people at all, so you can kind of see, kind of interesting how they ended up joining. Got sorted here by most numbers of deploys, and yeah, I don't feel like sorting end game. Yeah, green you can tell, so you can kind of see nice lines, nice pretty lines. But yeah, there's definitely some stories to tell. I felt like just doing a nice analytical video, because I know there's some stat nerds out there, and I tried to keep talking through the whole thing. I don't know if I succeeded at doing it. I feel like I succeeded at something. I guess should try and tell you who the most, honestly, the most statistically best character is. Honestly, after crunching the stats, I have to say that unexpected, the MVP is probably going to be Pella. And I'm kind of shocked by that a little bit. I'm not going to lie, at one point I was half considering benching her. And I think you can see why. Anyway, that is it for this video. I'm going to try to get some more stuff edited, because otherwise it's going to be a really weird video upload schedule, because next week is, I might just say I don't do any gameplay that weekend, because that weekend, next Saturday, is the IndyCar Grand Prix, and 3 weeks from today, when I'm recording this on a Sunday night, is the Indianapolis 500-mile race. Um, I'm gonna try to, maybe if I get a little bit more, if I can start editing some of the stuff. I'm thinking of doing really basic editing, like that's what I'm thinking for the Pac-Man Fever. That's LP2. I gotta start LP3 at some point, which I think I said was going to be New Mystery. I gotta start that. I might even start doing LP4. That could be Apolojustice Ace Attorney. It could be, it could be something else entirely. Like I don't know, try to do a more licensed game based on some sort of pretty cool pop culture series. Of course, trying to think what would fit the bill in that regard. I don't know. Gosh, that's something I'll have to think about. Um, I I'm definitely especially depending on when the race. What I might do, honestly, I might just try to get something out, like some sort of gameplay, like either Pac-Man Fever or Western Caves Wild Card out on next Monday, because this should go up tomorrow on Monday. I don't know what day it is. The 6th. It sounds like it should be, yes, the 6th. Go up to 6, so something on that, because the IndyCar race review might come out Saturday or Sunday, because that's when it's happening. And that's pretty much it. The other thing I should mention is, I said the Red Wings choked the playoff spot and they missed the playoffs, but they made it interesting, winning their last three three games. Oh man, disappointed in Boston losing the. I mean Philadelphia too, but they knew they were in a desperate situation. It's Boston. I was expecting Boston to win and win the division, and they yeah, but hoping it'll be a better season for the Red Wings. And I'm hoping that my Red Wings talk didn't just turn you out of the video. Not that it matters, because I'm gonna wrap this up. See you guys in the next one.